Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to our Gibraltar challenge, and here we are right at the end of season number 7. Now this one has been quite a convincing season, apart from obviously one major problem, as you can see right there. We lost 5-1 in the Senior League Cup quarter-final to Gibraltar United. I don't know what happened in that game. It all went a bit crazy. So yeah, we've only got one cup final this episode for you, and the last game of the league. Now we have won the league already by quite some distance. We'll have a look at that in a second. And of course we're in the Rock Cup final as well. Team-wise, it's been a bit disappointing once again. Michael Luke has been a bit of a disappointment, not scored many goals. He's scored a few more recently, but apart from that, he's been a little bit more disappointing. Let's look at the league. As you can see, we are at the top now by 20 points with a game in hand. So if we win this last match here, we'll win the league by 23 points, which is probably our biggest margin yet. As you can see, Ashley Miller's our top goal scorer, and he's joint top in the league as well. So I think we might play Ashley Miller up front today. See if we can get him that goal that will put him top of the goal scoring records here in Gibraltar. And of course, remember, this will be our last episode before we become professional, which I'm so looking forward to. So next episode, when you come back, we'll have hopefully a whole load of brand new fantastic signings for you to have a look at, and that might make us a bit more competitive in the Champions League this coming year as well. So enough of me blabbing on, let's get on to this match against Lions, who, if they beat us, can confirm their status in the league next year. If they lose to us, or if it's a draw, they'll stay in that relegation playoff spot. But let's get straight into that match. And here we are. As you can see, we are heavy favourites for this one, so it should be a little bit easier than what it has been of recent. We've had a bit of an iffy season. It's been up and down, but we have dominated the league. It's been very, very even throughout the rest of the teams. If you look, a team that's in second place has got 44, and a team in 8th has got 27. So it just shows there's only really about 15, 16 points. It's closer between 2nd and 8th than it is between 1st and 2nd. So that just shows how dominant we have been. Let's have a look at the team. It's pretty much your standard side. No big surprise. We're actually playing Hudson, the player we brought in the last summer at right back. He's doing this will actually be his first game. I didn't realise that. I've not really played him much this season. So he's going to be his debut. And we've got Cooper, Maguire, Baxter as normal, Conroy, Foster, Evans, Stevens. We haven't seen Stevens for a while, but trying to give him a bit more football here and there. I think he's someone who's got a big future, and I think once we go professional and we can sign this guy up on a professional contract, hopefully he'll start to build up a bit more, and we can really see the full fruits of his development. We're playing McDonald as an attacking midfielder. Not played as many games this season than he probably would want to, but they still play quite a few. And then up front, like I just said earlier on, we're going to play Ashley Miller, mainly because I want him to score a goal and I want him to become the #1 goal scorer in the competition. That'd be 2 years in a row we'd have the top goal scorer. Last year it was obviously Michael Luke, and this year it's hopefully going to be Ashley Miller. But let's get into the game. Hopefully we do well in this one. Ben Hudson playing his debut. Lewis Stevens hasn't played very much this season either. And here we go then. I'm so looking forward to playing the Champions League next year with hopefully some stronger players. I do have a nice list of players I want to sign. I think I'm going to wait till the end of the season just in case any of the players I've got my eye on do end up being poached already, or whether that's a very wayward shot there by Foster, or whether anybody else comes into the sort of. Well, I've got quite a big list of players that I'm looking at, but at the moment I still can't scout outside of Gibraltar. So once we go professional, I should imagine I'll be allowed to scout outside Gibraltar, and that might help me be able to try and identify the players we sort of want to buy. I really do want to get a striker, because I think Ashley Miller, although we're playing him up front today, he is an attacking midfielder and he plays fantastically in that role. So I think if we can get an out-and-out striker, because I just don't trust Michael Luke, we'll still keep a hold of Michael Luke, and he'll probably become our backup striker. But players like Hulk and Cortez and players like that might end up this being their last season, I think. And we're up to 33 minutes, no goal as of yet. It's going to be Hudson, the debuting right back, taking the corner, and there's Maguire on the volley. What a cracking goal that is by Matt Maguire. Well done to him. Absolute cracker. Here it is again, Hudson with the corner, and Maguire on the volley into the near post. And we are leading. That'll put us 23 points at the top of the table. And although it's been quite dominant this year, I can't imagine how dominant it's going to be next year when we can buy some... Because next year we're not going to have the... Oh, we've scored. Okay. Next year we're not going to have the limitations of only being able to buy Gibraltarian players, because now players will come into us, because there's been quite a few players that I found that are really good that won't join us because they won't move country for anything less than a full-time deal. So if we can now offer a full-time permanent deal, it's going to really help us out. The one thing we're just going to have to keep an eye on is wage budget, because that might get hit pretty hard pretty quickly. But I think we can probably reduce the size of our squad quite a lot. There's quite a lot of dead wood in the squad at the moment. I've just been collecting it all up, mainly because these guys have been on non-contract, so they only ever get paid once they play. So I've sort of just been letting them just sit around for a bit, but I think we'll clear a lot of them out next season. What am I going to do here? Work hard and it will come. Come on, Miller. You're going to finish at least top goal scorer, but I'd like you to get it on your own. I think he deserves it as well. He's been probably our best player this season. Since we brought Ashley Miller, he's just always been just such a great player. I don't know what it is. He's not higher stats than most of the players we've got, but he just seems to use it very well. Any highlights in the second half at all? Can we get one? Here we go. Oh, it's actually going to be them. A deep free kick coming in. McDonald, you should be coming to catch that. And it's good defence in the end. Who was that by? I don't know who that was. It might have been Maguire or Cooper, I would imagine. A corner for them. And it's headed wide. It's going to go out for a goal kick. And straight from the goal kick, it looks like we might have an attack. McDonald pumping the ball forward. Conroy does a great job there to get a hold of it. Lewis Stevens. I do see a future for Lewis Stevens. It might start to build up a little bit now because we're going to go full time. Like I say, a lot of these players are going to start training full time, so we should see a massive increase in some of their stats. So that's going to really help us out, I think. Players will be a lot more likely to reach their potentials, because at the moment, because we're only part-time, players are not reaching their potentials because they're not training 7 days a week. They're not being trained by top-class coaches 7 days a week as well. So it's not been great. Great move there. Stevens down to Miller. Miller, oh, he nearly got the goal. Nearly got the goal. Of course, we do have Lions once again in a couple of days' time in that Rock Cup final. It's actually been quite an even game so far. Might make a couple of changes just to try and spice things up. I don't know. If I drop McDonald back there, let's bring on Michael Luke in place of Stevens. And switch them around, because Miller seems to play better as an attacking midfielder. Maybe he's more likely to score from there as well. So I managed to do that at the same time. We're going to get a highlight. Actually, it's them got a highlight coming forward. There's Sam Rogers, I think, used to play for us. Great block there by Matt Maguire. Plays the ball forward. Can Miller get there before the defender Gretsch? No, he can't. And another goal kick there by Robber. And again, Maguire cuts it out. Maguire doing fantastic in that defence today. Pryor's on the ball now to Gomez. Yeah, Maguire has been fantastic there with his goal and his defensive work. I would imagine he's going to get man of the match today. Surely. Pryor. Not quite sure if that was a pass or a shot, but either way the keeper smothers it. And there we go. The assistant saying that Lewis Stevens is struggling for energy, should take him off, and then instantly he came off. It looks like Ashley Miller's not going to get his goal. It looks like we're going to finish the season on a 1-1 draw. Again, it always seems to happen. Whenever I press record, we seem to just go off the boiler. I don't know why it happens. It's frustrating, really. It looks like there is going to be a 1-1 draw to finish the season. Means we're going to win the league by 21 points anyway, so it's been pretty good. I'm happy enough with it. I'd rather take a draw in this game and win the next game any day of the week. And hopefully that's what we're about to go and do. We're about to go and win the Rock Cup against Lions once again. So I wasn't paying attention. I've just hit well done and realised what I've just done. Okay, we might change up the formation a little bit going into this match against Lions just to keep them on their toes. But let's go straight into it. And here we go. As you can see, we again are clear favourites. Hopefully this time won't be 1-1 draw. Hopefully this time we will hammer them and come away with the Rock Cup once again. That's the main thing for us. I'll talk about it in a second actually. We're going to go 4-4-2. Sorry, I just completely skipped past that. We're going to go 4-4-2, keeping the same guys more or less in the team. We brought Nixon in because we've not really got many left midfielders. He's not actually that good, to tell the truth. Hopefully he won't hold us back too much. Apart from that, I think it's a pretty standard side. We've seen everyone before. Miller and Luke up front. And yeah, let's tell them that we want to see something amazing. Right, we are underway. Now, I've just seen on the board screen that we are set to go professional as of the 22nd of July, which is the day after the second qualifying round of the Champions League. So that's a little bit annoying. It looks like it's set for an exact year after we requested it, which was obviously last year after the second qualifying round. So that's probably the reason why, as Miller's in the back and scores a goal in 3.5 minutes, and we are 1-0 up here in the Rock Cup final. So yeah, Champions League wise, it's not really going to help us too much this season. Unless we get through to the third qualifying stage, we might be able to use some of our new players, but it looks like it might be a case of building this season coming for next year and next year's Champions League, because I'm a little bit annoyed because a few of the players I had on my shortlist have recently just retired because they couldn't find clubs, which is a bit annoying because I think they were quite good players by the looks of it, but I'm sure there's still some pretty good players on the list that we can probably find, and yeah, hopefully we'll build ourselves up for next year's Champions League. You never know, unless we do get to a point where we can oh, we're playing defensive here. Unless we do get to a point where we can actually get through to the third qualifying stage of the Champions League, and then our new players can come into effect, but I can't see that happening. Plus, if it does happen, our new players are probably not going to be 100% fit anyway. Good tackle there by Cooper. Brings the ball out. Plays the big ball forward, and Miller. Gomez heads it, and there's Nixon. Nixon across to Foster. To McDonald. There's Miller. Plays a great little backheel ball to McDonald, and it's a shot, and Robber manages to turn it around the post. Out for a corner, which is going to be taken here by Ashley Riley. Now we've dominated the awards this season. Simon Foster, he got Best Player of the Year. Ashley Riley got second Best Player of the Year. And Ashley Miller got third Best Player of the Year. Baxter got Young Player of the Year. Tristan Sargent got Goal of the Year. Our entire defence and goalkeeper were in the team of the season, as well as Foster and Evans in the midfield as well. No strikers though. Michael Luke, there we go. Just as I'm talking about strikers not playing well, Michael Luke storms one right in the top corner. It's a little bit of a shame he's not had the best of the season. Like I said, he's very up and down, Michael Luke. He'll have a really good game, score a cracking goal like this one, and then he'll not play well again for the next few games. And that's the most frustrating thing about Michael Luke, which makes me think that if there are available strikers out there that we can pick up once we go professional, then I'm thinking that might be a way to definitely go. I think we'll still keep Michael Luke, try and give him a little bit of rotation, but I think, oh, great header by Frank Evans at the far post, and Nixon gets the assist on his debut. Yes, I think it'll be we'll be able to get some good players in, and some of these players might have to take a back seat for now. Of course, a lot of our team are still quite young, so as time goes on, they'll obviously probably develop and get back in the team. But I do intend on buying a lot of young players as well, because if we can get hold of some really good players and build them up, we might be able to flog them in the future for some money as well, and that money is going to really help us out when we look to try and build our own stadium and things like that. Going professional at the end of our 7th season is quite good actually. I've seen a few people doing it and they were getting around about the 10th season, so we've really done well here to get to this season. Of course, it's probably because we're making such a big profit for our Champions League campaigns. We're dominating the domestic scene as well, and finally, after me asking over and over and over and over and over again, the board agreed that it was the best idea to go professional. But now obviously I've just got to try and prove why we've gone professional and hope that the board don't get annoyed and take us back to semi-pro. I can't see that happening as long as we keep growing as a club and keep building our fan base, which as you can see at the moment we're filling out every stadium every single week. So if we can keep doing that, then there shouldn't be any problem with us ever going back to semi-pro. It's just a case of making sure we make enough money to sustain it as well. Michael Luke with a header. Top corner, 4-0. It's not even half time. We are hammering Lions here. And surely, there's no way they're ever going to come back from this one. 4-0 after 35 minutes. Great header by Michael Luke, who scored twice now. Gill with a throw to Green. Might they get a goal back before half-time? Maybe Green's in there. He's got the ball. It comes out to Gomez. Gives it back to Green. And we are pushing them further and further away from the goal. And if we can steal the ball now, the counter-attack might be on. Great work there. And they've gone from an attacking area inside our penalty area. And now Green's on the ball inside his own half. But they do start to come forward again, and Rodriguez has caught Baxter out of position there off the crossbar, and Cooper levels it out for a throw-in. Trust us to make it difficult for ourselves, eh? Winning 4-0, and they've had the majority of possession. They've had 54% of possession in the first half. Yet we've had 11 shots, 6 on target, 2 goals. That's what we need. We need to score the goals. That's what we've not been doing recently. We've been dominating the games. We've been getting a lot of shots on target. But we're just not scoring the goals. So it's good to see Michael Luke actually in form for a change. But like I say, it's just too far and few between for me. Then again, if we park him up front next season, if we do stick to a 4-4-2 style formation, if we park him up front next season with a striker alongside him, that might spur him on maybe. Because he seems to be doing better here when he's got someone beside him, or Nixon hits the post when he was offside. He seems to be doing a little bit better here, and he has got Miller up front alongside him, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe playing up front as a sole striker just doesn't suit him. That's a possibility. It's not a very good goal kick there, or free kick should I say, by McDonald. It's gone straight to Gillingwater, who played it to Webber. Gillingwater trying his darndest to stay onside, and he's done a very good job. And Webber's gone from the shot from 40 odd yards, and they'll not be happy with him there at Lions. Baxter now with the throw, sends it into Foster. To Nixon. So, yeah, the fact we're going to go professional with about a month left before the fact that we've got a month in between the end of the Champions League and the end of the transfer window means we've got quite a long time to sort of build ourselves a squad to go in for next season. Depending on how many players I buy, I might do a separate sort of episode just showing you all the players. If we don't get a lot of players in, then we'll probably just build it into the first episode of next season. There's a lot of different ways we could do things. Robber with a goal kick. Cooper heads it clear. It's been picked up by Gill. 5-0 in a cup final is very impressive, and that's going to really help boost us up. And I think it's going to be quite good for us now, because as we grow in reputation, it'll increase the country's reputation, and as the country's reputation increases, as we win things, we'll increase as well. So it's going to be, what's the opposite to a vicious circle? A happy circle. It's going to be a happy circle of circumstances where we can just grow off of each other, and that's going to be the main thing. What a shot that was off the crossbar. I'm looking forward to seeing who we're going to get in the Champions League this year. The last couple of years, we've had pretty decent draws in the shape of Debrecen and Maribor. I wonder who we're going to get this year. Because I'm not holding out hope much for this year. I think next year is going to be the. The one. Baxter with a throw. Can we make it 6-0 before the end of the game? Nixon. Into Michael Luke. It's been cut out by Gill. Gillingwater now plays it across the green. And looks like they're going to get away with it. Well, Maguire cuts it out though. He's so good, Maguire, with cutting out those long balls. We've seen quite a lot of that in the last few games. Nixon. There's the cross. Ashley Miller, it's 6-0. And this young lad has just been absolutely outstanding for us. That's his hat-trick today as well. 17th goal of the season. See, this is this sort of opposite to Michael Luke. Michael Luke's got really good stats but doesn't necessarily play very well. Ashley Miller hasn't got the best of stats, but every time he's in a game, he's just fantastic. And here he is just proving it once again. But saying that, if you look at the front four, you've got Foster, Nixon, Miller and Luke all playing +9s, and Frank Evans is playing a +9 as well. And I think the referee's going to blow the whistle now. 6-0 in a cup final is pretty impressive. And it just shows the teams what they're going to have to compete with next year, because next year we're only going to get better. We are only going to get better. It's going to be pretty tough for them. I'll tell you what we'll do at the end of this episode, something I don't normally do, but we will do this time. We'll hold on and we'll watch the Champions League draw as well. See who we're going to end up in against the Champions League. So let's go straight into that now. I was wrong. It looks like we are now professional. I thought it was going to be... it said on the board screen we had to wait until the 22nd of July next year, but it's now the 12th of June and we are professional now. Excellent. Excellent. So, now we're professional. I might be able to buy a few players in before that first Champions League match. I don't know who that's going to be against. Let's go a bit further on now and see who we get in the draw. And here we go. This is also the bit of news I was hoping for. Our scouting range has now been increased, so we can now scout the whole of Europe as well. That's really going to help us out with finding some really good young players that may have been released from some of the bigger clubs around Europe, maybe Italy, Spain. I think Spain and Portugal would be our main sort of areas to look at because of obviously geographically that's where we are normally. Okay, I don't quite know what's happened. It seems to have just skipped the draw. I don't know. I was waiting for the draw to come along and it's not popped up at all. And it also looks like we no longer have to... We don't have to do the first round anymore by the looks of it. It's put us straight into the second round again against Maribor. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. So we've got to a point now when we are seeded to a point where we don't have to do the first qualifying round, but we do have to face off in the second qualifying phase now against Maribor. So that's going to save us a little bit of time. This is the guy that really did double damage to us last year, wasn't it? Mark Mina. We can't buy him, but still he was a really good player. Hopefully, now we're professional, I'll be able to buy some players in and hopefully we'll do a bit better against these guys now. We've got about 3 or 4 weeks before this match, so I'll come back to you then. Hopefully I'll have some players in the bag by then and hopefully we'll be able to give Maribor a run for their money. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, then please do hit that like button. It does help me out a lot. And of course, if you are new around here, be sure to hit subscribe for a lot more of this Gibraltar challenge. It's really starting to open up now. And next episode, in that game against Maribor, we're going to have a lot of new signings, I would imagine. And hopefully some ones that are really going to change the scape of Gibraltarian football. I've been Shabba Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.